everyone, and welcome to the Press Box, where we give you our thoughts and views and we lay it on the table. What a weekend of football, buddy, it was. Oh, my goodness. It was a great weekend of football. Test, test. All right, here we go, guys. We had a great showing this weekend. A lot of great games, college and NFL. We got a lot to talk about today, bud. We got a lot.
Yeah, we do. We
are back, guys. We were having a little audio issues. My voice actually wasn't being picked up in the segment, so we had to start over, guys. But we're ready. We got lots to talk about. We got a new segment, Good Call, Bad Call. We got the call out in about 30 minutes. We're going to go over the college games in the first hour, and then we will talk NFL in hour number 2. And oh my goodness, I am excited. Woo!
Yeah, it was a great weekend of football, man. Great weekend of football.
All right, so good call, bad call. We're going to tell you if we made a good call or we made the bad call. First up, OU. Good call, OU. I said OU isn't built for the SEC right now. I said that, this isn't their year. Maybe they need to go back to the drawing board and do a little bit better at recruiting. South Carolina came in, took care of business, and I made the right call. I made the good call.
Yeah, I made the bad call on this one, I believe.
You did.
Yeah. I underestimated South Carolina, and I thought OU would do a little bit better at in this game, and I was obviously wrong.
Well, I mean, we're not always right, and this next game's going to show. I made a bad call here. I really thought ECU had a team that could come in and beat this dominating Army team this season, and that wasn't the case. Army, another dominating win, so I made the bad call here.
Yeah, and I believe you said they trail it in this game too at some point. And I don't believe they did.
You might be right there, buddy. You might be right. Next up, Alabama. I said this is not the same Alabama team. This is a good call for me. A good call. I made the good call. Alabama's not the same. And this isn't the same as Nick Saban. Okay, Nick Saban is no longer the coach. It's his players essentially. Somewhat, but different styles, different philosophies. Good call. And I'm sorry. That means a bad call for you. No, you picked Tennessee. You're right.
I was like, wait a second. I did not pick Alabama.
Oh. All right. So, I made a bad call. I thought Louisville would have enough to beat Miami at home. Miami's been good, but they've kind of been getting by barely winning. Some close games, and I just thought that, this was Louisville's week, and I made a bad call.
I think I picked Miami in that game.
No, you picked Miami, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I made a good call. I said this is not the same Michigan team that won the Natty last year. They're not as dominating. They had a lot of people graduate and enter in the draft, and I said that they would go on the road and they would actually lose this game to Illinois, and that is exactly what happened.
Yep, Michigan let me down. Really bad call on my part.
A really bad call. Speaking of bad calls, everybody made a bad call. Most of America made a bad call in this next one. Texas. We will talk about that one later. But yeah, we thought Texas being the best in the college football world, and I feel like most of America had Texas winning this game.
Yeah. It would have been insane to pick against Texas.
Oh, for sure. All right, we got a lot of games. We got the call out in about 25, 30 minutes or so, guys. Hey, you know what? Florida State, I I made another bad call on this one, guys. I said Florida State, you know, would come in and win this game because they had 22 consecutive wins. Duke has never beat them, and that's why I picked Florida State. I thought this was going to be kind of where Florida State turns the season around, and I was a little wrong on that. Duke came in and they took care of business. They took care of business.
Yeah, they did. I think I picked Duke to win just for the fact of that guy we were talking about.
What guy?
The guy that said he was going to eat dog poo if they lost.
Oh, yeah. Well, so, you know, he said it after the Boston College, and he didn't. So many people are thinking that he put a curse on Florida State. I don't know if it was dog poop or if it was a chocolate bar. I mean, I hope for all his sake it was just a chocolate bar, you know, and acting like it was poop. But there is a video out there that shows him with something chocolatey and water. So I don't know. Maybe he ate dog poop. Maybe.
Yeah. I hope not.
I've
done a lot of crazy. I've done a lot of crazy stuff in my life, but I'm not eating dog poop if the team loses.
Well, this next game wasn't even close, y'all. It wasn't even close. Oregon shuts out Purdue 35-0. Okay? 35-0. You know, Oregon hears all this talk of how Purdue is going to beat them because they're in the top 5 and it's at Purdue. Oregon came in and said, nope. You want to hear an interesting stat?
Yeah.
Oregon's first 2 drives had 2 touchdowns, okay? Okay, you know, or it's Oregon, right? Here's the interesting part. They had 0 passing yards on the first 2 drives, and they scored 2 touchdowns.
Insane.
Yeah. So
insane.
Oregon with the dominating win at home. BYU claws out a win against Oklahoma State, 38-35, and oh my gosh, it was a beauty. The quarterback just on a slant route throws it to the receiver. He breaks the tackle, jukes another guy, gets in the end zone with I think it was 30 seconds left or 16 seconds left. So that was a great game. A great win for BYU. It is actually one I had to record because I had to get up early to go to work on Saturday. So I made sure I watched the tail end of that game Saturday morning. Well, the Yellow Jackets couldn't sting the Irish, and they lose 31-13. And well, we both called that one.
Yep.
You know, and once the news broke that the starting quarterback for Georgia Tech would be out after we made our picks, and even if they had him, I don't think Georgia Tech would have won.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Nope.
This next one is very upsetting for the state of Arkansas, NWA, as LSU hog-ties Arkansas 34-10. LSU is undefeated in the SEC right now, so they're the best team in the SEC. Like in terms of SEC play, they're the best team.
Yeah.
And that's a game that we both picked. You know, Arkansas has been up and down. 1 week they're good, 1 week they're not, and LSU with a dominating win. So Clemson has yet another dominating win over Virginia, 48-31, and I mean many people believe that was going to be the case. Clemson's kind of flew under the radar this year, and they get the win 48-31.
Yeah, they have flown under the radar. I think it's because they're not as good as some of the previous years. They're not as potent on offense, but they're having a quietly good season.
I mean, you know, they lost week 1, but since then they've came back and they've won every game since, and you know they're in the top 10. They're in the top 10. Well, this next one, we picked the right team, but I felt like it was going to be a little bit closer than it was. But Indiana sucks all the corn out of Nebraska, 56-7. Yeah, I said it. They sucked all the corn out of Nebraska. I really thought this game was going to be a lot closer than it was. I thought it kind of had that Big Ten low scoring physical game, and Indiana says we're not about that anymore, and we're going to put up the points on you. Nebraska actually didn't allow a single rushing touchdown all season, yet they allowed 5 in this game.
Wow.
Yeah, Indiana ran all over them. Ran that vacuum and sucked the corn right out.
You gotta stop saying that. I'm gonna end up dying of laughter here.
So this is the best start for Indiana since 1967. So good job to Indiana for, getting such a dominating win, such a great start. Nebraska is 0-26 versus ranked teams since 2016.
Wow.
Yikes, that's like 2 ends of the spectrum going right now.
Yeah.
So we Indiana, I don't know, is Indiana the best team in the Big Ten? I mean, could they be the one that represents?
Starting to look like it.
Well, in the Battle of the Tigers, Missouri comes out with the win. They beat Auburn 21-17. And this is actually, I actually watched a lot of this game, and it was close. I mean, it was back and forth, action, and I mean, it was a close game all game. I don't think the lead was ever double digits in this game.
Yeah, I think that's what you called too when you picked.
But I mean, I did say that Auburn was going to get the win. I thought Auburn would beat Missouri, but Missouri does get the win, 21-17. This is only the second time that Missouri has beaten Auburn. I believe the other time was the 1971 Sun Bowl. It might have been the 1974, but it was 1970 something, and it was in the Sun Bowl. Was the only other time that Missouri beat Auburn. So good job, Missouri.
Well, I mean, not good job, Missouri, because Missouri's playing some ugly football right now.
Hey.
I mean, they're getting the wins, but it's ugly.
Hey, you got to take the good wins. You got to take the bad wins and the good wins and mix them together. At the end of the day, a win is a win. They do have some stuff to work on, yes, but at the end of the day, they did get the win, and that helps them continue to try to maybe vie for the SEC title. Well, next up, as you heard in the good call, bad call, Army continues their march with a 45-28 win over East Carolina. Army 7-0 for the first time since 1996.
It's insane.
After the game, East Carolina actually fires their head coach, Mike Houston. So East Carolina is looking for a head coach, y'all. They're looking for a head coach after that disappointing loss to Army.
Yeah, so just go ahead and send your resumes to eastcarolina.org. Maybe you could be the next head coach at East Carolina University. Because anything would be better than a coach they produced in the last, I don't know, ever.
Yeah, well, East Carolina, they did good a couple years ago, but I don't know. Our Army's just too dominant this year, guys. They're probably, them and Navy are going to be the ones that go and play in the AAC title. So the Badgers are too much for Northwestern. Win 23-3, and no surprise there. I think everybody pretty much was on Team Badgers.
Yeah.
Northwestern, they got a good win, but they're up and down. So Badgers get the win. This is kind of, we disagreed on this one. You picked Arizona State, and I picked Cincinnati. I said Cincinnati would win, and then news broke out that their star running back was going to be missing the game for Arizona State, and once that happened, I knew Cincinnati had even a better chance. They get the win 24-14 over Arizona State. I don't know. There's not really a lot to talk about. It was a decent game, but like I said, without the star running back, that was just too much for Arizona State to overcome.
Yeah. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Well, we talked about this in the good call, bad call. South Carolina makes Oklahoma be Boomer not so sooner with a 35-9 victory. OU isn't built for SEC. I said it.
OU is not built for anything right now.
You're right.
Their losses on the season look so ugly.
Maybe they
So
should go
ugly.
like to the Sun Belt. Maybe they would win there.
Okay, let's not go that far. All right.
Okay, they can go back to the Big 12. I mean, yeah, Big 12.
Yeah, how's Arkansas doing in the SEC?
They're 4-3.
Yeah, okay.
Better than OU.
Okay.
So, South Carolina, I mean, and last week they almost beat Alabama. So South Carolina almost beat Alabama, and they get the win here. And like when South Carolina's good, South Carolina's great. I mean, they're a great football team. But when bad South Carolina shows up, then that's not so much the case. But in this one, they were good South Carolina. So
that's all that matters.
that is all that matters. Well, let's see what we got here. We got Illinois wins on the 100th year anniversary of a six touchdown performance. I had it pulled up and then somewhere I've lost it, but this player for Illinois, he had a 6 touchdown performance against Michigan 100 years ago. And Illinois wins 21-7 over Michigan. This isn't the same Michigan team. They're rebuilding from their natty. And I am actually happy to see that Michigan is not ranked after this week.
Yeah.
Illinois is ranked. They were both ranked. And I don't feel that Michigan should have been ranked because last week, but somehow they were hanging by a thread at that 24 spot, and Illinois says, no, go ahead and get out. And congrats, though, on the 100th year anniversary. So they actually had throwback jerseys, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I always liked the throwback jerseys.
So the helmets that Illinois wore on Saturday actually took like 2 hours to make. And I'm told I think I saw it was something. It took like 2 years to completely design head to toe their uniform for Saturday. So
really,
they spent a lot of time in those jerseys, and it paid off. I like Illinois. They're a sneaky good team, and maybe this is what they need to kind of propel themselves up in the rankings a little bit. And we'll go over the rankings here in a little bit, and we'll see where we agree and disagree with the AP poll. And I'm going to tell you right now, there is a few of them that we do not agree with.
Yeah.
Well, we said it last week. Army head coach came out and said, I don't know that Navy even has a football team. Well, Navy reminds everyone that they do indeed have a football team, and they get a dominating win, 51-17 over Charlotte. They said, hey, you want to forget about us? Let us just go ahead and dominate another one for you. This has all the makings, like we just said, of an Army-Navy game twice. And I'm for it. I'm for it.
I'm all for it.
You know what? I hope that Army or Navy, one of the two, just goes ahead and dominates the rest of the season, and they get ranked up there really high. I'm for that. I'm for that.
Unfortunately, so I feel they both could go the rest of the season undefeated. I'd have to really dig into the schedule of both teams, but I feel like they've got good chances to go undefeated.
Well,
The
both
rest of the way.
Navy and Army both do play Notre Dame. Navy actually plays Notre Dame this week, but outside of Notre Dame, they don't really play, I don't feel like, anybody that poses a threat.
Yeah, so I hope up until that Army Navy matchup for the Commanders Cup in week 14 that they're both undefeated. Unfortunately, I kind of have a feeling like that whoever loses that game is going to be just completely bounced down the pole.
Yeah, you're
So-
right. You're right.
Yeah,
Because
so
they're going to be
it
like.
kind of makes
Go
that
ahead.
next matchup a little less important, like the conference championship matchup. It's like, oh well,
We'll see it.
now.
No, I don't think the actual Army Navy game actually, because it doesn't affect conference standings or anything. I think it's just an annual thing.
No, I think it still does
Oh,
because they're both in.
that'll be something that we'll have to check into.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure it does.
Well,
Like it still counts as a win or a loss. It still counts as a conference win or loss.
Navy actually plays Notre Dame this weekend, so it'll be interesting who we pick in that game. I don't know. I'm definitely rooting for Navy, which is weird, but NC
Yeah.
State slips out of Cal with a 24-23 win. They beat Cal 24-23. You know, I picked Cal actually.
I think I picked NC State.
I thought that Cal, you know, they were at Cal. They almost beat Miami a couple weeks ago. I don't know. It was kind of weird because I really thought Cal was going to do better, and they've kind of struggled this season. And NC State has actually struggled too because, I mean, to start the season, they were ranked 22nd, which I don't know. I don't agree with the preseason polls. I don't feel that should really be a thing. But I guess you got to start
Yeah.
somewhere. But because I mean, NC State was ranked 22nd. Okay, they're not ranked. Michigan was ranked high. They're not ranked. So preseason rankings are, you know, just kind of there in my opinion. But NC State does get the win on the road, so kudos to them. That Wolfpack was the howling.
Yep.
The Wolfpack was howling, y'all. We got lots more. We still got the call out coming up. We got some good names on the call out. Obviously, we like to do good call, bad call outs, so don't be shocked if someone you know is on the bad call out section. Maryland. Woo! Oh my goodness, Maryland. Maryland stuns USC 29-28. USC has now lost 3 straight, guys. What is going on? What is going on with USC?
They're just not as good as we thought they were.
The Trojans are a little shorter than expected. Huh?
Yeah, evidently.
You know, this one actually did surprise me. I think I did pick USC in this one. And Maryland shocks them. There's like, hey, you know, we've been struggling this season, but we're gonna beat you. And you know, that's another team. You know, USC was 25th, and you know that they've now lost 3 straight. So it's real crazy, and it's real crazy to see and think like, you know, because this is the first year dealing with the transfer portal, and it's having a big impact, that's for sure. So USC, I actually thought USC would be a contender this year. You know?
Yeah, I seen them playing a lot better than they have been.
I mean, they beat LSU at the beginning. I was like, oh, this is going to be a team, and that's not the case now. Well, this one shocks me. Colorado gives Arizona a stampede of Buffalo with 34-7 win. I didn't think it was going to be dominating.
Yeah.
I think I actually picked Arizona. I picked Arizona.
I think I did too.
Yeah, I mean, they were 3-point favorites, and Colorado let us down last week, and we said, "Hey, we're not going with Colorado this week. We're going with Arizona." And they went to the desert and said, "Hey, Buffalo's like the Heat too," and
yeah,
Colorado turned up the heat. I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see how Colorado is next year without Shedeur Sanders and without Travis Hunter. That'll be real interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be, and I haven't really heard much about any of their signings, so I wonder if they have a quarterback in place that's going to be able to succeed Shedeur.
Now, I do know that Colorado is trying to get a 5-star commit from Alabama. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I don't know. I don't think you're going to be able to swing that. But it'll be real interesting to see. It'll be real interesting to see how that transpires. But they get the win here, 34-7. Baylor with the big win over Texas Tech, 59-35. That's one I'm not gonna lie, guys. I didn't watch this game. There were other games on, and also, I was out in the evening time, so a lot of the actual key matchups I had to watch yesterday morning. I had to go back and watch some of the Bama, Tennessee, and the Texas, Georgia game yesterday morning. So this game kind of just flew under the radar for me. It was both teams have kind of been up and down all season, so nothing really that got me excited anyway. So, but if you're a Baylor fan, hey, good job, 59-35 over Texas Tech. Well, you want to do it, bud? You want to do that magical time? I think now's
the time for the call out.
It's time for the call out. We are calling you out. We got some good ones. This is just in the college side. Do you have any on the college side? I know you have some on the NFL side, but
yeah, I've got one. Good call out. Mr. Ashton Genty. Ready to take the high road against Travis Hunter. You know, Travis Hunter came out, I think, late last week and said, if I had 95 catches, how many yards do you think I'd have in response to Ashton Genty being the Heisman frontrunner? And Ashton Genty took the high road and said pretty much everybody is entitled to their opinion. He has his, and that he was impressed by what Travis Hunter was doing and that he was balling out, and so he took the high road. He didn't have anything bad to say about Travis Hunter, which most players wouldn't do that. Most players would be like, they'd just fire back and be like, yo, like, talk to me when you accomplish something or whatever. But Genty took the high road, and kudos to him.
Yeah, that is kudos to him. Very, very well. Good job on that one. That one actually kind of just broke like right before we went live that he said that. And, it is kudos to him because you're right, man. A lot of players, especially nowadays, they would have been like, no, like start mouthing back and it'd be just like a big old Twitter war, X war. Fighting on Instagram, fighting on Facebook, whatever the social media is. So Travis Hunter did say, what if I had 95 catches? Well, I was kind of looking at his stats, okay? He has roughly 45 catches for, I think, like 590-some yards, okay? Okay, so you start doing the math and you times that by 2, a little over 2, and that puts him at 95 catches for about 1,100, 1,200 yards. So roughly about the same production as what Ashton Genty is right now. Maybe a little less. So, Travis Hunter, just focus on football. Don't worry about the Heisman. Ashton Genty isn't worried about the Heisman. He's just worried about building his legacy. So, kudos to Ashton Genty. Kudos to you for that great call out, man. Well, we're going to keep things going with another good call out. Mr. Kirby Smart becomes the fastest coach to win 100 wins at a SEC school. He did it in 117 games. Nick Saban did it in 118, and Steve Spurrier did it in 120. So, Kirby Smart, you're up there. If you're listening, hey, kudos to you on a job well done. Job well done. Well, next up is Brady Cook with his 5th win while trailing in the 4th quarter or overtime. Most by an SEC quarterback since 2022. And this is all after coming back from an ankle injury. He checked himself out of the hospital, guys. He went to the hospital, said, I got a game to go finish, checked himself out, came back to the stadium, and wins this thing for Missouri. That's crazy, bud. That is absolutely crazy.
That's insane.
Good job, Brady Cook, though, man. What a quarterback. He said, this is my final home game, my final homecoming of my college career, and I'm not missing this. And he comes back and gets another win for Missouri. Good job, bud. Well, sometimes when we do these good call-outs, sometimes a bad one presents itself, right? USF players, University of South Florida, players start fighting each other on the sideline. We hear of teams getting in scuffles with each other. Like I could understand if they threw punches at another player. I mean, I can't, but I mean it would make a little bit more sense. These guys are over there on the sideline on the same team fighting each other. They're on the same team throwing punches, bud.
Yeah, that's crazy. Why were they fighting each other?
I don't even know because they were winning the ball game.
That's crazy.
Did they not win that game?
I don't think they did.
I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Let's check this out, guys, because I kind of feel like they won that ball game, and then it's like, well, why are we fighting? Why are we fighting? University of South Florida, right? We're checking this out, guys, because we want to know. We want to know here.
USF.
I know. I don't see it. Confirmed.
Yeah, I'm actually really confused right now.
I must have missed it. It must have. Oh, okay, you know what? I'm on the wrong week. That's why. I'm on the wrong week, guys. I'm on the wrong week. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, here we go. USF. We're going to get this for you guys. I promise.
They got the little green thing, right? They played UAB?
Yeah. They probably played UAB. That sounds about right.
Yeah, they won 35-25.
Yeah. See, they had a 10-point win. What are you fighting about? Come on. Stop it. Stop doing that. Don't throw punches at each other.
I'm actually going to go back and look for the... Did you know Oklahoma fired their offensive coordinator?
I did actually. I was actually going to mention that while we were talking about the OU game, and then it kind of slipped through. OU did fire their offensive coordinator. So we'll talk about that in a few. We got a couple more. The call out, Mr. Kobe Bryant. It is spelled C-O-B-E. Kobe Bryant ties Kansas school record with 3 interceptions. He ties Mr. Bill Crank back in 1958. So good job, Kobe. It's crazy that we say that. Thought I'd never say, let's go Kobe Bryant ever again. But good job, Kobe Bryant, for tying a school record. Army and Indiana continue to not trail a game this season. Not trail. They have not trailed a single second all season. Army and Indiana are dominating the competition, and they're like, hey, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get the lead, and we're gonna win this ball game. We're never looking back. So good job. That there is the call out. We called you out. If you made it, good job, or not if you're some. So there you have it, guys. There's the call out. More on this offensive coordinator. I'm glad you brought that up because I was actually going to talk about that. And it kind of slipped through my cracks here. Slipped through the notes. Yeah, Oklahoma fires offensive coordinator Seth Littrell? I don't know.
Yeah.
Co-offensive coordinator Joe John Finley becomes new OC. And somebody else is going to be having a high involvement with the Oklahoma offense as well. So, I think they do need to fire their offensive coordinator. They have not been putting up anything all season. And they actually went back to Jackson Arnold and still struggled. So, it is definitely more than just a player personnel problem, I feel like. Okay, we have... Huh?
Yeah, Joe John Finley will be co-offensive coordinator with former Duke OC Kevin Johns, who will have a significant role.
Okay. Well. All right, we have a few more games, and then we're gonna get to the big games that we want to talk about, the prime time games. Texas A&M continues to be good. They beat Mississippi State 34-24. No surprise there. Mississippi State is terrible this year. Texas A&M is actually sneaky good. A lot of people are kind of overlooking them with the Georgia and the Texas and the Bama and Tennessee and all them other in the SEC. And A&M's just kind of flying under the radar and saying, hey, we'll just continue being good. So, good job. Good job to A&M.
Yep.
Well, Vandy wins again, and if they would have lost this one, I would have made fun of them because they beat Ball State.
No surprise there.
Yeah, it's no surprise. Ball State is a weaker team, and but if they would have, we would have been like, you know, you can beat Alabama, but you can't beat a crappy team. So, and I think Vandy actually made the top 25 this week, guys. So that's exciting. Well, I was wrong on this one, guys. And honestly, this probably should have made the bad call out because I did. I made a bad call out here. K-State chews up the Mountaineers 45-18. I really thought that West Virginia was going to do it. It was at home, and K-State has kind of been a little rocky at times. I thought they would, going on the road would be a little bit too much for them. And K-State said, not having that. And they get the dominating win. So I was wrong. You were right on this one.
Yep.
So, but yeah, good job, K-State. They have a sophomore quarterback, Avery Johnson. He's actually pretty good. So, K-State plays Kansas this week in the Battle of the Sunflower State. I mean,
Kansas State doing so. Yeah, Kansas State.
But we'll talk. Yeah. We'll talk about that later in the week. But this actually could have made the bad call out section as well. We thought Iowa's defense would been too much for Michigan State. And that wasn't the case. Michigan State actually gets a 32-20 win not at Iowa, but versus Iowa. I thought the Hawkeyes were going to do it, but that's not the case.
I really thought that defense would hold Michigan State, but
yeah, Michigan State offense came out.
I was wrong.
Hey, I was too. You know, and that's what we said. We said the Iowa defense would be too much. It would be too much for them, and that's not the case. Michigan gets a 32-20 win. So, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Wildcats tend to not do very well in swampy situations, and Kentucky cannot survive the swamp. They lose big, 48-20 to the Gators. Did that Gator chomp on them? No,
Yep, I think that's a game we both called Florida winning.
Yeah, it was no surprise. It was at Florida. If it had been at Kentucky, I feel like the game could have been a little closer, but Florida Stadium is really loud. It is one of the louder stadiums in all of college football. And you know, right now Florida's they've got a team, and if like they can keep their players as well as, you know, recruit and bring in some more, Florida could actually be a really good team next year.
Yeah,
So,
their quarterback is a freshman, isn't he?
Yeah, DJ Lagway.
Yeah, and then one of their wide receivers is a freshman.
Yeah, they got a couple of freshman wide receivers. So that's what I'm saying. If they can keep their own, they'll be good next year. They'll be good. SMU pony kick Stanford 40-10. They gave him the old pony kick. No surprise there. SMU has actually been kind of on a roll lately, and their offense is really kind of a high-powered offense. They usually get in close games because of the defense. Well, the defense showed up today, and they get the 40-10 win. So good job, SMU. I think they made the rankings too.
Yeah, I believe they were ranked. I believe they were ranked last week.
Well, I think I think now they're like 22nd or something. So
yeah.
Well,
we'll have to break it down.
We're gonna break it down in just a few minutes, guys. We got a little bit more to get through though. We got a little bit. So UNLV gets a 33-25 win at Oregon State. Good job, Rebels. They've overcame a lot. This is a game I thought Oregon State would win because it was at home. So, but good job, UNLV. The Rebels are doing their thing.
Yep.
So, this next one actually led to another firing. TCU beats Utah 13-7. Okay, 13-7. And what do we have over here? Utah offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig has announced he is resigning from the position. He has been Utah's OC for the last 10 years. So I said firing. It basically was a firing because if he didn't step down, they were going to fire him. This kind of helps him keep his prestige, you know, like he can go get a job somewhere else without having to say that he was fired. He stepped down as offensive coordinator. So TCU's looking for a coordinator.
Yeah, so if you want to apply this,
Utah is looking for a coordinator. I'm sorry.
Utah.org. Maybe you could be their next offensive coordinator. I'm here to make your dreams a reality.
Oh, whoa. That might be a different segment for a different show.
Whoa.
All right, guys. We got a couple of games that we really absolutely want to talk about. 4 on my sheet. All right, we got UCF and Iowa State. Iowa State gets a 38-35 victory. Iowa State was down by 14 at one point, and I thought it was over. I did. I thought it was over, guys. I said, holy crap, UCF is going to beat Iowa State. Iowa would then get it within 1. And then a late PI against UCF would set up the go-ahead score. Iowa State keeps undefeated season going. They are 4-0 in conference play for the first time in school history. The first time in school history, Iowa State is 4-0 in the Big 12 or in conference play in general. It is their best start since 1938. 1938.
That's impressive.
I actually looked up this stat because I wanted to see how the 1938 Iowa State Cyclones did. In 1938, they finished the season 7-7. So they started out 7-0 or 6-0 and didn't finish down the stretch. So let's hope that Iowa State doesn't do that this year. I'm actually excited for Iowa State, and I think it's great for college football that some of these other teams are stepping up and playing good. So good job, Iowa State, on the undefeated season. Well, next up, it was a great game. It was a ACC matchup. It was one I actually predicted wrong. Miami gets a 52-45 win over Louisville. This game was as exciting as I thought it was going to be, guys. It is actually one that I was able to sit down and watch start to finish because it was it was the early slate game. So it was back and forth, lots of points, lots of yards in the game. I thought Louisville had enough to win, but they fell a little short. I got to ask you, bud. I got to ask you, okay?
Yep.
So Miami is off to an impressive start, okay? This is their fourth game this season of scoring 50-plus points. It's a program record, by the way, okay? Here's my question for you. Are the Hurricanes for real this season?
I'd like to think so.
Do they got a shot? Do they? I mean, obviously they're going to make playoffs because, I mean, unless they just fall on their face at the end of the season. But,
do they have a shot to win the national championship?
Well, do they have a shot to go deep? I mean, maybe semifinals, maybe make it to a national championship.
You know, it's really hard to say at this moment because, where are they going to end up seated?
Right.
Maybe they get a really bad seeding against a really good team, and they're bounced in the first round. Now, if they happen to get lucky and get a nice seeding, get a nice easy first game, build that confidence up for the college football playoffs, then I can see them,
Well, if they win the ACC, they would get a first round bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they win the ACC, they would be among the teams. So it would be SEC, Big Ten, ACC, and Big 12 would have a first round bye. I don't know. This gets interesting. Their offense is really good. It's a really high-powered offense, and I don't know. Maybe the Hurricanes make a decent playoff run. So it is definitely exciting times. If you're a Hurricane fan, obviously it's the only Hurricane you're rooting for. As many of the Hurricanes have hit in Tampa and that area, so the Miami Hurricanes football team is doing good, and it's something to cheer about. So we'll have to see. We'll have to monitor it. Next up is Alabama versus Tennessee. Tennessee wins 24-17. It is actually one that we both called. Bama got off to an early start, and then Tennessee has been held scoreless in 3 straight games. For the first time since 1963, the last 3 games, they have been scoreless in the first half. They are 2-1 in those games. This was a close game. Jalen Milroe has an interception in his 4th straight game. This isn't the same Bama team like we talked. It's not. Different coach, different philosophy, different mentality. And it's going to take a little bit for them players to get used to.
Yep.
This is actually interesting. I saw this and I had to write it down. They have multiple losses for the first time before November since 2007, and that was Nick Saban's first season.
Wow.
So, not the same Bama team that we've been seeing over the last 10 years. And honestly, it's not going to be the same Bama team moving forward. Bama will always be Bama because of their reputation, their program history, the tradition, all that. But it is not going to be the same Bama team that we're used to seeing dominate year after year.
No, not at all.
So, anything else you'd like to add on Bama, Tennessee?
Nope, it pretty much went the way I thought it was going to go.
Right. All right. Well, here it was. It's the heavyweight showdown. It was between Georgia Bulldogs and the Texas Longhorns. The Bulldogs came in and reminded everybody, me, Steven, the whole ESPN Game Day crew, reminded everybody that they are still the top dogs in the SEC, that they're not going anywhere. Georgia's defense played a great game. They bottled up Texas' offense, and I did not see that happening. I didn't.
Yeah.
Their pass rush was too much. And that Texas O-line has, players that are projected high in the first round, and that Georgia defense just got around them quick. So I was actually wrong, and this was actually a discussion that me and some of the guys at work had, and I got to give a shout out to my man Josh. If you're listening, you were right, bud. You were right. You said that Georgia would come in and smack around Texas a bit, and for that I applaud you, and I was wrong. Everybody else was wrong. Texas is the first number 1 team to lose at home since 2012. And I'm guessing that was probably Oregon that lost.
Probably.
So Georgia said, yeah, hey. And kudos to Kirby Smart, because it was he knew that the whole nation was basically picking Texas. It was Texas this and Texas that, Texas this. And he came out and he told his players, he said, we're hungry. We got to go eat. And that's what they did. They went in and they ate. And, he kind of had that us versus the world mentality. And it paid off. It was 30-15 Georgia. And they even put Arch Manning in there. And Arch Manning has
Quinn Ewers got benched in that game.
And guess what? Arch Manning has that same dazed and confused look that his uncle Eli has. That just, So, I'm shocked. I was wrong. We were wrong. Most of the nation was wrong. Georgia gets the win there. Real shocker.
And it's bad when Texas fans were throwing stuff on the field.
Yeah. That stay classy, Texas. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't do that. All right, so I actually have the top 25 that we are going to go over. Okay, as soon as I find it in my notes here. You sent it to me, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, you did.
You sent it to me.
Oh, okay. Either or.
No, it's not either or. You sent it to me.
All right. Yeah, here we go. So, the top 25, we have number 1, Oregon. I don't have a problem there. Oregon is undefeated. Currently the best team in the country. We thought it was Texas. That's not the case. We thought it was Bama. That wasn't the case. We thought it was Georgia. The number 1 team has lost. The number 1 team has not been number 1 for more than 3 weeks this season. So let's hope that Oregon doesn't fall victim. They actually have a matchup against Illinois this week. So nice Big Ten matchup. So number 2 is Georgia. Do we have a problem with Georgia being number 2?
No.
Okay. No problem.
I don't personally think so.
They beat the number 1 team. They were ranked 5th. I don't have a problem there. Penn State is 3. I don't have a problem. They're still undefeated.
Yep.
Ohio State is 4. Do we have a problem there?
I don't have a problem with Ohio State at 4.
Ahead of Texas?
Yeah, I
ahead of Miami.
I don't. Maybe not ahead of Miami, but I could see them being ahead of Texas.
Okay, so Texas is 5. Miami.
Texas, Texas and Miami
6.
should be flipped.
Okay, so Miami should be 5. And that they're. I think the only reason that they're not is because, they've been having close games, but they're still undefeated.
Yeah, but Texas pretty much got blown out by Georgia, so,
well,
I mean.
Okay, so
You could
Tennessee,
flip.
huh?
You could flip it both ways there.
Tennessee is 7. I don't have a problem there.
No.
8 is LSU. No shock there. I mean, Clemson.
Yeah.
Clemson is 9.
No shock there. I mean,
Iowa State is 10.
still undefeated.
Yep, still undefeated. I saw a thing that their highest ranking is actually like 7. Like 7 is the highest they've ever been ranked.
Yeah, because they do the AP poll and then they do the coaches poll too.
So BYU is number 11. I don't have a problem there. They're still undefeated. Notre Dame is 12. Any problem there?
I think Notre Dame and Indiana should be flipped.
I agree. Indiana should be ahead because they're still undefeated and they're dominant. Like they dominated Nebraska.
Yeah.
So Indiana's 13. They should be 12. A&M is 14.
I don't have a huge problem with that. No.
I mean, they've been playing good football. Here's where I have a problem, guys. This is where we start to have a problem. Bama is ranked 15 ahead of K-State, Boise State, and Ole Miss. And an undefeated Pitt team. So I really think, honestly, and this is just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to hate on Bama, but Bama's got 2 losses on the year. And one of them they definitely should have won against Vandy. I think Bama should go to 20, and everyone from 16 to 20 should move up a spot.
Go ahead.
Just my opinion on that.
And in my personal opinion, Alabama should not be ranked.
Well, I mean, I will say, they do play in the SEC.
They lost to an unranked Vanderbilt team. Like, Alabama gets name recognition on polls.
Well,
and
same with
that's
Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State, Texas. I mean,
yeah, but their play at least somewhat backs it up. Like, Alabama has been playing crap football, almost lost to South Carolina, then turns around, loses to Tennessee. Like, and even still, if they had 3 losses, they would still be ranked. That's where I had the problem.
Right. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, bud.
There are other teams more deserving of being ranked than Alabama, I feel like.
Okay, so Bama's 15, K-State 16, Boise State drops from 15 to 17. See, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I get they had a bye this week. I don't agree with that whatsoever. They should have been able to maintain their spot at least at 15.
I was gonna say, so they get penalized because they are playing their schedule and they had a bye week. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is 18. Once again, these 16 through 20 should definitely be up a spot in my opinion. 18 is Ole Miss, 19 is Pitt, Illinois is 20. So after the win versus Michigan, they moved up to 20. Mizzou is 21. And see, I would actually probably put, now that I look at it a little more, I would probably put Bama at 21 and put Missouri at 20. But SMU is 22. Army doesn't move up, right? Yeah, Army doesn't move up. They stay at 23.
Navy moved up 1.
And Navy moved up 1 to 20.
I have a problem with both those.
You think that they should have moved up some?
I definitely Army should have moved up some to at least 21 at least. Like you said, if Alabama would have just dropped down the rankings, I'd even compromise if Alabama would have been 25th and everybody else would have moved up 1 spot. Like, I could compromise with that. Like, okay. But to have Army beating teams the way they're beating them, to have Navy beating teams the way they're beating them, I don't care if it's, air quotes, lesser competition. You're undefeated.
You're still
That
playing
says a
your schedule.
lot. Like, if you're gonna do a ranking system like this, and you don't want to give credit for undefeated seasons to, and you know I'm passionate about this because of how Boise State got done, a couple years back.
I know.
then
That's why I'm
do
giggling over here.
Then do a separate poll for the lesser conferences.
Okay, I can see that.
Like, and then the lesser poll, that's going to be the non-Power 4 schools that get into the college football playoffs. But to sit here and say Alabama is currently better than Army or Navy at this point, they're not whatsoever.
Okay, I like it. Army is 23, Navy is 24. I like the passion there, buddy. I like it.
Yeah, I could go for hours if I really had to.
So Vanderbilt is 25th. Cinderella Vanderbilt is 25th, and I'm for it. They beat Kentucky. They beat Bama. They beat, they're on a winning streak. And now they're ranked. I'm all for it, guys. I like it. So,
what's Vandy's record? They're not undefeated, are they?
No, they're not undefeated. They've lost one, I think.
Are there any undefeated teams left? Is Liberty still undefeated?
Liberty is still undefeated, and they didn't make the cut.
Okay, yeah, I have a problem with that. Just being 100% honest, like, once again, I realize it's Liberty. They're playing their schedule.
Vandy actually has two losses on the season.
Yeah, you got to put Liberty at least at 25. Like, I don't care.
The big matchup this week, Texas versus Vandy. Uh-oh. Oh. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Liberty got snuffed out for the second week in a row, and that's unfortunate for Liberty.
And, I mean, were they even receiving votes?
They were or they weren't?
That's what I'm trying to find out. I want to know if they were.
I don't know. All right, guys. We have hour 2 coming up next in just a few minutes. So we're going to take a quick break, and then hour 2 will be here shortly.